Alrighty, so that was a test ball. Strong ASIM weight block with a strong cover. I'm bowling on 46 feet of oil, and the idea is, why don't I try to trash the lane a little bit using a strong cover, strong core bowling ball, and then see what the Road Warrior is capable of after the lanes have got a little messy. So here are the first 12 shots of me throwing the Road Warrior. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stand in the same spot as that strong ASIM, strong cover, and just kind of see the shape and if it varies much, if at all. Right, so that was a little inside, but the amount of extra push that gave me, and if you watch it from the lower angle, you'll see that's supposed to start hooking sooner, and it doesn't. It just keeps pushing down there. So that tells me that we've got a very fast responsive but lengthy cover stock, which is exactly what's on there. It's the R2S Deep, our most longest length cover that we have. You might remember it, it's very similar to what we put on the High Road Pearl. So that's the first thing I see. But what we really want to see out of this cover stock is what happens if we miss it a little further right and hit the friction. We want to see a high response off the friction. Let's see if we get it. Well, science does not lie. We got that a little further right. We saw the friction, and you can see the shape was a lot more aggressive than what we saw off the stronger test ball. What I'm liking about this though is I'm still able to play very close to where I was playing with the stronger cover, stronger weight block and core. That's a really good thing to see, because sometimes you like your angles. You don't want to have to move off them too far, but you want to be able to play the same part of the lane, but have a bowling ball that will give you that length and still go through the pins at the other end of the lane. So I'm liking that. 2 for 2, by the way. We're going to see if we can get 12 for 12. But we're going to move around a little bit. So now that we've seen that it will come off the friction, the next thing is well, what happens if we float it more in the oil? We move further left, we kind of slow it down a little bit. Will the cover and weight block in here do its job at the other end of the pattern? So I'm going to move just a really simple 5 left. I'm going to try to keep that break point to the right again, but we're going to slow our speed down a little bit just so it goes through the oil, and see if we get that really nice back-end reaction. That's pretty sick. I mean, that right there is exactly what you want to see as a bowler. When you move in, as the lanes are slowly transitioning, we want to see that shape. Now I know this is 12 straight, but I really want to show you what happens when we put a strong ASIM, strong cover, and do that exact same thing. You're going to see the difference in ball reaction. So here we go. This is back to the strong ASIM. I'm going to play that exact same line, and my best guess is we might 2-pin with this ball. Maybe if I don't slow down that much. So 3 for 3 with this ball. The stronger ASIM still came off of it, but if I'm honest, it kind of went and forward a little bit. So this ball at least is creating that shape, but it's a very continuing shape. So I don't feel like I can check early. I feel like I'm going to get the length. Oof. So That's a good sign. Anytime you can see the ball float through the middle part of the lane, you're going to have less variation in your ball motion through the first 40, 45 feet. That's where you get your consistency from. When it starts to get tricky is if it starts to read early or it doesn't break at all. Now we're in a little bit of trouble. But so far so good. We've got consistency, we've got length, and we've got the ability to throw it right. So we know that it'll hook when it slows down, but what happens if we go a little faster? So I'm going to move way back to the right, and we're going to play right on top of the oil line, very close to the friction, but let's see if it'll still kick on the backhand just enough to get to the pocket. Oh, more than enough. More than enough. Okay, so what does that tell me? Well, it tells me anytime that the Road Warrior sees friction, at the end of the lane, it wants to respond off of that. That is ball reaction heaven, if you ask me. Because that lets me move all around the approach, and I don't have to worry about the ball doing anything funky in the middle part of the lane. I can just pick a break point that I think it's going to hook from, and I can just pepper it all day long. And then as the lanes transition so much where there literally is no more oil in that spot, that'll be a little bit later, so I get more out of it from this ball, but I can trust to keep moving left. So we can move way, way left right now, slow down even more, get that ball to the friction, and let's just see how much angle this ball will give us. I mean, that's kind of sick. To be able to throw it relatively straight for my game, to play on top of an asim and get that extra push through the fronts, to move just a little left and slow down a tiny bit and still see that really beautiful storm shape, all the way through to just jumping to the left gutter, slowing way down, throwing it way right, and then watching it suck up to the pocket. I mean, this is going to be your game 2, game 3 league ball when you're like, I want to have a little fun. I want to move in a little, have a little fun. Let's see if we can't do that same slow, big wheel shape again. I mean, even that, I got my hand around that a little more than I would have liked, which promotes length anyway. But sometimes on 46 feet from that far left, you need a ball that's going to really come back if you get your hand around it a little too much. And so that's what we saw. It actually still had plenty of kick to slap the 10 out. 279 pace right now, provided I made the 9-pin spare. Let's pretend I did. All right, now I'm kind of just go back to where I'm a bit more comfortable, more of a natural ball speed, play in the middle of the lane, just throw a good shot. I mean, I don't know what more I can say. It's pretty impressive. I think we could set up a time lapse. I leave in a couple of days from here. I might not miss. Just keep moving left. I might not miss with it. Yeah, so far so impressive. Now we're going to try now. I'm actually going to try and really get behind the ball. I would like to see what happens changing the ball motion, where maybe you're someone at home that has a little more forward roll. Let's see if we still can't get it to kind of check right in front of the pocket. I mean, now it's getting a little, like you might thinking this is some kind of AI overlay. We're making this up. This is legitimately, you know, the weight block that we have. What's it called? What's the weight block called? It's got funky letters.
Inverted FA2 AI.
Inverted FA2 AI. Which is the same weight block they had in the Road, but the Road had a much stronger cover. So throwing this R2S deep is showing a very, very different ball reaction on top of it. And so far, I can throw it slow, I can speed it up, I can get my hand around it, I can get my hand forward on it. I mean, if I throw one back up right now, blind, and it strikes, we're stopping this ball video, it's done. Like, there's nothing else I can do. All right, I can make a move off of that. All right, so part of my routine is to wipe the oil off the ball, but something that I'm noticing here with the polish that we've put on this is the new Power Edge polish that we're using. It's not the Reactor Shine. And what I'm noticing here is, first and foremost, the oil that is coming off the ball from the towel, it's gone faster. Like, I'm noticing there's less oil on the ball, and when I wipe it, it's taking less time to get rid of that oil. So that tells me that the Coverstock is getting back to that factory finish, or how it was the frame before, faster, which allows more consistency in ball reaction. Obviously, if there's oil on the ball, or there's oil in the pores of the ball as it's going down the lane, shot to shot to shot, you're going to see a slight variation, but that's not what I'm seeing here, and I'm not seeing that with ball reaction. So that's one thing that I'm kind of noticing, and I'm really liking with this Power Edge finish. Oh, it was off spot. That's why I didn't strike. If it was on spot, it would have struck. So look, all in all, I don't know how many shots I've had. I know we're supposed to throw 12 with this ball, but I mean, I'm pretty impressed to be able to be pretty versatile, and at the same time to be able to use this at a time when my stronger ASIM and stronger cover ball might start to just get a little too early and start to see that friction too soon. I think the Road Warrior's got a really, really good shape to it to allow that ball to be the one you go to for that game 2, game 3, or later in the block of a tournament, that transition game where you need a little length, but you can't give up, ping carry, and you can't give up angle of entry into the pocket. I think this is what's made Storm so famous, this ball reaction. If I'm honest, it's probably what's made me as famous as I am in bowling, that shot shape. Couldn't do it with any other brand, and I'm loving what I'm seeing with the new Road Warrior, because there's nothing more fun than standing as far left as you can go, hooking the whole lane, and watching 10 go back. It's just fun. It's a fun ball to throw.